Welcome to Unity of Charlotte, where our mission is to nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. So happy Easter, everyone. I'm Reverend Pat Dre, and I am delighted that you are with us on this beautiful spring morning. It's the trees turning green and the flowers out and reminding us that we are truly resurrected in mind and soul. So let's start today's service by sharing our statement of oneness, and that will lead us into our opening prayer. There is one presence and one power in my life, God, the good omnipotence. And now take a deep breath and release it. And once more. And relax and let go of any tension, any tension in your body at all. Get ready to just pray and absorb these words that I'm sharing with you. In this beautiful springtime morning, let us know that all of us together and each of us individually emerge into a whole new life. And knowing together that there is one presence, one power, God the good. I am filled with faith and I look to God, knowing that whatever it is that I need is right here. It is right within. It is the light within. And that light within prepares the way for me right now to move ahead in my life as I am resurrected in spirit today. God's love is within. It also surrounds and enfolds me, and it also protects me. And from this, I know in the deepest place in my heart that all is well. And from this place, I emerge into a whole new promising life. And this promising life reminds me that my health and my wellness and my inner light are everything. So I surround myself in an atmosphere of peace, joy, purity, prosperity, and promise. This entrance into this whole new life means that I am truly blessed and I am initiated into the vitalizing life and spirit, which fills me to overflowing with every needed thing: strength, vigor, vitality, hope, and faith. In my oneness with God, everything now is in divine order. All is well, and I have the fullness of joy. And in the days to come, I know that I am truly blessed, that prosperity of all sorts is mine to know and experience. Harmony and healing are part of my everyday experience. And I put aside any ideas of anything other than the blessings that are mine to know and experience. I recognize that everything lies ahead brings me an opportunity to learn, to experience, and to know joy, success, and accomplishment. Each is a blessing, and it is a gift to me as it is a gift to the world. And at any moment when I feel a lack of harmony or need healing, I simply go within for a quiet time of study and prayer. And this readjusts everything and casts a new light of peace. It allows me to view my affairs differently, assured that that light within provides. And I know that every faculty and power that I need is already here at my disposal, bringing forth everything that is needed. And in this time and in this day and in this Easter renewal, I flourish with purposeful living. I am so grateful for this renewal and the peace that resides in my own heart and that light of the One. And join with me in knowing this is true for you and for all. And so it is. Amen. I thought this morning again about the 5 principles that unity teaches, and because I'm reviewing and reading Neville's lectures and books again at this period of time, I'm also reminded that his mentor was an extraordinary human being. He was a Black Ethiopian Jewish man who was really the seed thought for Neville's renewal. And one of the things that Abdullah showed the way for Neville to embrace is that whenever you see anything outside you that you do not like, that you do not want in your experience, that you are to embrace a new idea. And you are to embrace that so fully and so completely that there is no choice but the universe to respond with a return in that as manifestation. And so this is what Neville practiced. But he also knew that in seeing anything in another human being that was not God qualities, that it was time to do his inner work again, because it meant that it was time for him to clear out. And so I'm reminded again in a new and fresh way that all humans, all people are good, that it is the work within us that needs to be done to get the right and perfect perspective. And so welcome to all of you joining us on Zoom or YouTube. We're delighted to have you with us on this Easter morning. And we are looking forward to the day when we can get back together in person. But we've sure been faithful at our YouTube and Zoom connections to keep us fully in touch. And I appreciate all of you for continuing your journey with us during this time when we use technology. And so we take just a brief moment to appreciate the many scientific advances that have come to us lately to make life good and even better than it has been. And that includes these technological advances and everything that brought about the vaccine and all of the health measures that have gone to contain the virus. Now, if any of you are in need of prayer, please reach out to our website with your prayer requests. We are delighted and happy to support your intention. Also remember that Silent Unity is available to you by dialing 800 Now Pray for a personal affirmative prayer. And now for our announcements. The men's group has expanded. They have 2 sessions, one that meets at the church on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays from 9:30 to 11 a.m. All are welcome to join the in-person discussions and a virtual meeting that happens on the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays from 7 to 8:30 in the evening. The Affirmative Prayer and Meditation group meets on Tuesday evenings from 7:15 to 8 p.m. We set a prayerful energy for the church, for the city, and for the world. It is a truly powerful event facilitated by Barbara Rolfe. Dialogue as Service meets on Wednesday afternoons from 1 p.m. to 2:30, and it is a class with Barbara Rolfe. Please join us, and we'll let you know when our new book begins and what that book will be. The book club meets every 3rd Sunday at 11 a.m., and that will meet again on the 18th of April. And the Course in Miracles meets every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. We're pleased to announce a town hall meeting that is meeting on April 11th. That's next week, immediately following Sunday services. You'll recall Your Voice is Needed presentation on our mission-centric vision that was held back on March 7th at 10:30 a.m. following service. This is the second presentation, will be facilitated by our very own skilled facilitator, Horace Bush. And the theme is Come Sit at the Welcome Table. And you are invited to sit at our Unity of Charlotte welcome table and participate in this ongoing, vital, and energetic discussion about our mission-centric vision and all that is happening to bring it about and advance it. So thank you. Our speaker today is our very own Sally Robbins, speaking about Easter. I am all ears, Reverend Sally. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Reverend Pat. What a delight to be here with you. Happy Easter. We made it through the winter. Oh my God, yay. Was that the longest winter on record or what? I'm just so happy to see the forsythia blooming. Oh, and the trees and the daffodils. It's just absolutely wonderful. Well, I'm going to start us off with a treat. We are all ready to understand what the true meaning of Easter is. I know this is something I look forward to every year because I like to just revisit and integrate that which I know. And so I'm going to start us off with a song by Eddie Watkins Jr. So let me share my screen and get us to that.
That's bad.
This is I Am the Place Where God Shows Up, and that is truly what we are.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God You are the place. Moves and breathes and has We are the place. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. Where God you are the place. We are the place. I am the place where God shows up. I want you to clap your hands and sing it with me. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Eddie Watkins Jr. How can I have?
All right. I am the place where God shows up. That is the truth, isn't it? And so my talk today is entitled Shine On. Let me share my screen again and show you exactly what I mean by that. Because I don't know about you, but I'm ready to shine. Anybody else out there ready to shine? Shine, shine, shine? Yes, I am definitely ready to shine. And so I love that song because he talks about how we can show up and shine. And so when we are in that place of deep resonance with who we truly are as a spiritual being, we can't help but shine because that's what we're here to do. That's what we are here to do and be and live and move and have our being as shining spiritual beings. So I love this quote by Tina Fey. I am constantly amazed by Tina Fey, and I am Tina Fey. Now that's shining. That's shining. I love that because she gets that when we are here, we get to amaze ourselves at how truly awesome and how truly fabulous we are showing up with our gifts and our talents and our fabulous contribution to the world. And when we are in that place, that we know that we are the mouthpiece of God, saying words of peace and harmony and compassion and kindness, and then we are the hands and feet of God, then nothing is getting in the way of who we are here to be right here and right now. And so I know that when we are in this place, that we can come across as true spiritual beings. And I love how Spirit is always in charge. Reverend Pat was just talking about how she's diving back into Neville. Well, I have a Neville quote for you because he's one of my favorites too. This comes from his book, The Power of Awareness, which is one of my favorites of his. And this is what he has to say about shining. He says, all is yours. Do not go seeking for that which you are. Appropriate it, claim it, assume it. Everything depends upon your concept of yourself. That which you do not claim as yourself cannot be realized by you. Now that comes from page 39 in that wonderful book, The Power of Awareness. But I love how he says, do not go seeking for yourself. You're already that. If anything, all we have to do is uncover that which we are. And I love how the story of Easter ties into that. Because too many times, many of us have felt that feeling of crucifixion, that feeling that, oh my gosh, I just can't take any more. And then from that, from the ashes of the phoenix, we rise again to understand our true nature that has never been harmed, never been burned, never had anything happen to it. That is the truth of who we are. If anything, all we've had to do is uncover the beliefs that we took on that are not the true essence of ourselves. It comes down to what he says here about your concept of yourself, your concept of yourself. And so instead of seeking the light, We get to be the light. We get to be the light. If I share nothing more with you today that doesn't stick, please let this be it. You are already the light of the world. You are it. And all we need to do is let go of the armor and all the stuff we've caked on ourselves to cover up that which we are, and let it go, and let the true essence of who we are just come shining forth. Well, I have a wonderful joke that I want to start with. This is, you talk about having a bad day. St. Peter was having a bad day in heaven. And 3 people died all at the same time and went to heaven's gate. And they were talking to St. Peter, and he said, I have one question, and if you get it right, I'll let you into heaven. So he asked the first person, what is Easter? And she answered, oh, that's the time of year that the whole family gets together and we eat turkey. St. Peter just shook his head. He said to the next person, what is Easter? She answered, oh, that's the time of year when our family gets together and we all open presents and the fat jolly guy comes down the chimney. Again, St. Peter just sighed and shook his head. And he said to the third person, what is Easter? And she said, oh, that's when Christ died and they put him in a tomb and rolled a rock in front of it. St. Peter smiled and he urged, yes, go on. And the person continued, then once a year, we roll the stone away and he comes out. And if he sees his shadow, we have 6 more weeks of winter. St. Peter just was not having a good day that day. And so I know that you and I, when we get into that place of distracting ourselves with the other stories that really aren't the true essence of what we are, that's when we know we have to get back to the basics. And that's what I love about Easter, is it allows us to come back to renewal. It's a time of renewal. In every faith out there, Judaism, the Muslim faith, all of them have this time of renewal. It's called different things. Christianity just happens to call it Easter. It's the same story, though. The same story of us coming back to ourselves, coming back to that divine self that is within us, and knowing the truth of who we are. Let me tell you something about self-concept, we were talking about with the power of awareness. The lowly hermit crab. And I love how nature is always teaching us. And so now most of us have seen a hermit crab on the beach. Here's one right here that you see that they always have a shell on their back. Because you see, this is what a hermit crab looks like without a shell. Its whole interior is completely exposed. And what happens when the hermit crab starts growing, it can outgrow the shell that it's in. It doesn't grow the shell on its body. It goes and finds an empty shell, and then it inhabits that until it grows too large for that. And I was looking that up and trying to figure out, well, how does that work within a colony of hermit crabs? And Wikipedia, fabulous place of information, says that hermit crabs actually create something called vacancy chains, CHAINS, vacancy chains. And when hermit crabs find an empty shell, several of them will gather around it, and they actually look to see who might fit into that shell. The largest crab will then move into the new shell, and then the second largest crab moves into the newly vacated shell. So they line up and go, okay, you're going to fit into that one, and then I'll take mine off, and you can fit into mine. I mean, is that just incredible that the divine essence within the hermit crab is so tapped into the wisdom, the true wisdom? And I know if it can be that way for the hermit crab, that they can find a place to live and move and have its being in the world. I know that the same is for me. I know that I too, when I outgrow whatever it is that is maybe too small a container for me. Do you know what I'm talking about there? Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a situation in which we have become far too comfortable. And we have to break out of our comfort zone and move into a larger shell. This is simply the evolvement of nature. And every time it happens in nature, nature provides for that which is growing. And you and I are constantly growing. We are evolving. There is an upward spiral to all of life. And again, when we get to that place of feeling pinched, feeling stuck, maybe it's time for us to move out of our too small shell and move into something that is more spacious and roomy and able to allow us a place to really breathe and grow. This is the true essence of who we are. We're not meant to be cramped and living small. We're meant to be open and available to the newness of life. Look at all around us. Life is just exploding in new growth. Nature is the roses in front of my window here aren't going, wow, I'm not as good as I was last year. I just don't know. They're going, hey, here I am, world. See me in all of my glory. And if one of my petals falls off, so what? I'm ready to shine. And that's sometimes I think what we miss is that we're not here to compare ourselves or what's that phrase? Compare and then despair. Because when we compare ourselves with others, and social media is certainly a way that you start thinking, oh my goodness, all these people have all this stuff and things going on in their lives, and they don't know how carefully curated it is, that we're only seeing the good things. And at the end of the day, what really matters is, how am I showing up in the world? What is going on within me? I have to stay in my spiritual lane, not be looking at what's happening in the other lanes of life. It's nice to know that, but really when it comes down to it, what is happening in my spiritual lane? Let me stay focused on that. Stay focused on that. So we can move out of our too small shells. Sometimes we hold on to them simply because of fear. And yet, it is that which is holding us back. The only thing that's holding us back is not life. It's not God. It's not nature. It's only ourselves. And when we break out of that too small shell, we can then move on to a container that blesses us and encourages us and inspires us. It's amazing how we can do that. See, the New Thought version of Easter is what I truly love. And how we can release the old and step into the new. See, the crucifixion, the symbol of the crucifixion of the cross is really it's just the crossing out of negativity and fear. That's what it stands for. And our resurrection, please hear me when I say this, our resurrection is simply our spiritual mastership. When we rise to the level of mastering that we are truly divine beings, that the God within us is what is allowed to shine through day after day. We show up as God. I'm showing up as God, as Sally today. And you are showing up as God, as you. That's what the resurrection is really all about. Am I mastering these principles of life and harmony and beauty, all the qualities of God that are deep within me? I don't have to root around for them. They're right there. They're already there. Meister Eckhart said, you don't have to add one more cubit to yourself. You simply need to let go of that. I'm paraphrasing here. Let go of that which you've taken on in the human world. John Shelby Spong, who is another wonderful person that I've read quite a bit of. And he used to be in the Catholic Church and now has, it might have been the Episcopal Church. But he says this, when the fall is dismissed, and he's talking about the fall of man, when the fall is dismissed, traditional Christology cannot help but go with it. And a new Christology must emerge as a phoenix rising from the ashes of the past. And he goes on to say, it will be a Christology based not on the fall and the rescue, sin and salvation, or even guilt and forgiveness, but on the call to wholeness, the power of love, and the enhancement of being. See, when we look at I'm not here to be an original sinner. I'm here to be an original blessing. That's truly what I'm here to do and be. And John Shelby Spong says it perfectly, that we are absolutely already enrobed with the Christhood. What have we done to cover that up? And now is our time to let go and arise up and resurrect that which is already there. The Christhood is fully present and alive within each one of us. It's up to us to display that, though. We're the ones that have the capability of shining or not. How bright is your light? As bright as you want it to be. Because that which you are, the light, is already within you. So perhaps this is Christianity at its purest essence. You see, Jesus never said, worship me. He only said, follow me. He was the great example, not the great exception. And so I love how when Jesus is saying, follow me, it's follow me to a place of oneness with the God within me. Follow me to the place where nothing separates me from my God. Follow me to the place where nothing separates me from my good. Follow me to that which was within, the Almighty within. And that's me. That's divine essence as me. And sometimes it's so easy to forget that. Rumi, the most popular poet in America today, who lived in the 13th century, said this: knock and he'll open the door. Vanish and he'll make you shine like the sun. Fall and he'll raise you to the heavens. Become nothing and he'll turn you into everything. This is the story, the full meaning behind Easter and the resurrection. If we simply knock and go, I know I'm here to shine, the door will be open. Vanish, meaning if I let go of that little self with a small s and turn into that place within me, which is the capital S self, I'll shine like the sun. When I fall meaning when I let go of that which I think I need to prop me up, are you with me on that? I'll raise you to the heavens. That we are meant to be a shining beacon here on this planet. And then become nothing. Let go of all of our limited ideas of our selfhood, the little s again. And Spirit, God, will turn you into everything. This is the resurrection story in the poem right there. That there is a rise, there is a fall, and there is a reckoning again, bringing us back to our place of being an original blessing. So perhaps this is the true story of Easter. Perhaps this is the allegory, the story that we can take in again and again and move to a place of deeper understanding every time we do. Because I know when I revisit this every year, there's always another kernel of wisdom. I go, I never get tired. This is a fresh story every time. And I get to experience this story at a new place in my life. Are you with me on this? A new place where I've uncovered more and more layers, and I get to shine even brighter. I pulled out another one of my favorites, Joel Goldsmith. In his book, Man Was Not Born to Cry. This book has been around, well, it was published in 1964, and I think I've got a 1969 copy of it. It is one of the seminal books. It actually was his, he wrote letters to his subscribers every year, to his students. And this was the 1962 letters that was renamed Man Was Not Born to Cry. So in the 4th chapter, which is for April, for Easter of that year, he writes this: if we are to die to our heathenhood and be reborn of the Spirit, we must realize that whatever change is to take place in us is not going to come about because we go to some holy place or find some holy man or read some holy book. The change is going to take place only if we permit that holy place, holy temple, holy man, or holy book to reveal to us that the Spirit of God is within us and must be revealed within our own being so that we accept it as a personal responsibility. That's the key word there. It's our personal responsibility to seek until we find, knock until the door is opened to us, and we are able to hear, I am in the midst of you and am mighty. I in the midst of you am God. I in the midst of you will be exalted in the earth when you recognize me within you. When you recognize that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you. When you realize that the Son of God is hidden in that tomb that you call you. So you see, the tomb isn't a place at all. The tomb is that place within us where we've hidden that divine essence of who we truly are. That place that knows we're already the Holy One that we've been seeking. Because that divine essence is a place that we can always turn, to which we can always find ourselves again. When you and I know that, we truly are resurrected. We truly are brought back to life. So that tomb, rolling away the stone, that whole metaphor of rolling away the stone is simply taking the stone of our humanhood away from us, not feeling that, oh my God, it's just me, it's just Sally. No, it's Sally, and the divine essence within me is the full essence of who I truly am. This is the divine message of Easter. You and I get to resurrect every single day. The scriptures say you must be born again. What they're talking about is being born every day into this truly divine person, this place within us that we hide so easily, that we forget so easily. So you and I have something within us that is untouched, that is unharmed, that is so pure that we can know without a shadow of a doubt that we are truly spiritual. We live in this world, but not of this world. So how will you resurrect? How will you let go of the chains that bind you? How will you let go of the humanhood that has held you back all this time? So perhaps instead of avoiding crucifixion, when we get to that place in our life where we're going, it is just, I'm in too small a place, I'm too cramped, or I'm feeling stuck and chained and I can't get ahead. Perhaps instead of trying to avoid that place, we welcome it. Come on, come on. What is this that I am to know? How am I to experience a greater expression of God in this world? How am I to let go of the humanness that I've come to associate with myself far too often? Let's welcome that, because when it really comes down to it, we're not here to make something happen. We're here to let something be. We're here to reveal that splendor that is within us, that is so radiant. I know all of us get glimpses of that from time to time. What if we could stay there? That's the spiritual mastership I was talking about earlier. What if we could stay in that place and nothing could knock us off center? Remember that it used to be a bozo or a clown or something, and you could like punch it, and it would like fall back down, but then it would bounce right back up. What if we truly became that if life punched us, we were just like that clown and just bounced right back up, and we truly knew who we were, so nothing could knock us off center. It might knock us down for a second, but we know that we have that which in us that is all strength, all power, all luminescence, all light. And when we recognize that and when we integrate that within our souls, nothing can stand in our way. Maybe that's what we're here to explore. So instead of avoiding things that might appear hard and difficult, let's welcome it. Let's say, yes, this crucifixion story is about dying to the old and letting go of the old that no longer serves us. And the resurrection is awakening to the new. My goodness, if nature can go through this every year, dying to the old and resurrecting to the new, I certainly can. I see the buds outside my window and I'm in awe because it has seemed so long and so dark and dreary of winter. And yet there was life at all times in those twigs and bushes, and the grass was just dormant. There was always life there waiting to burst forth again at the right time. We're no different than that. There's always life ready to burst forth at the appropriate moment. And sometimes going through the winters of our lives are simply opportunities for us to gain more spiritual maturity, to flex that spiritual muscle that we have, to know that we can get through whatever comes our way. You know, you don't go to the gym one time and go, that was a great workout, I don't need to do that again. No, we get to do this again and again and again. And if any of us have any length of years behind us like I do, we've done it multiple times. We've had a crucifixion and a resurrection again and again and again. And we think, shouldn't I have gotten it by now? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm in exactly the right place where I need to be. Maybe I'm in the perfect place for my soul's evolvement and growth. Maybe I can trust the Spirit's got me on this one. And no matter what happens in my world, there's always something uplifting me and holding me in the palm of its hand. Maybe I can trust that all these spiritual concepts that I've been studying, all of us have been studying for decades, they really work. And that we can actually use them and integrate them into our lives. You know, sometimes when we feel like dying, when we feel like, I don't know if I can hold on any longer, and I know many of us have been in that space, especially for the last year, maybe that simply was our initiation into something greater that we might not even have a glimpse of what that is yet. There's a term called liminal space, Liminal, and I just ran across it this week. I'd never heard of that before. And liminal space is that place in the in-between where we've completed one thing, but we haven't quite arrived at the new yet. Been there? I certainly have. And when we're in that space, sometimes it's really hard to just trust and to live in the mystery of what is. And to know without a shadow of a doubt that somehow something good is coming out of this. And yet that's what we're being called to do. That's the true crucifixion and resurrection back, is being able to hold on to that liminal space and trust that in the great mystery of life, that Spirit is always is there and has always got our back. It's a paradox that you need to die in order to be born again. And again, I'm not talking about from the sense of taking on anything as a savior. I'm talking about dying to the old self of who I think I am and renewing my version of myself, knowing that I am one with the one, the changeless. There's a huge difference. And if I can just know that I can be twice born, thrice born, maybe 4, 5, 6, whoever, who cares how long it takes. I know that I have that which within me is the divine certainty that I am in the right place at the right time, and that it's always evolving for my good. See, that's the true meaning of being born again. John Denver wrote about this. I'll share my screen again. John Denver wrote about this in his wonderful song, Rocky and I. You remember that one? And he wrote about it and he said, let me see if I can change this. There it is. He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he's born again. You might say he's found the key for every door. And what he's talking about there is the resurrection. He's talking about being born again, putting the old behind. And can it happen in your 27th year? It can happen in your 57th year or 67th or whatever year you claim. It can be done multiple times. And yet, so many times I have feared that process within my own life. I know you probably have too. And if I just let go and trust that Spirit's got this, and that I'm actually processing in a beautiful and wonderful way, and the chemicalization that's happening in my world, Catherine Ponder uses that phrase, chemicalization, when we move from the old to the new. Alchemists used to do that. They talk about turning anything into gold, it's something that it was not of value into gold. That's really what alchemy is doing, is changing the old, that which no longer serves us, into the gold of our lives. You and I have such tremendous opportunity here to resurrect to a new idea, a new concept, a new place of being, a new way of living in this world. Because you are the place where God shows up, as Eddie Watkins Jr. said so beautifully. You are the place where God shows up, and that divine essence in you has to shine. So let's clean up all the mud and dirt and things that we've caked on. Just let all that go so that we can truly shine and not ever let anything get in the way of that again. I'm going to close with a wonderful quote from Emerson. He says, "Be a gift and a benediction. Shine with real light and not with the borrowed reflection of gifts. You don't have to shine from anyone else's essence. You've got such an incredible light within you." And when we recognize that, when we recognize the pure essence, and that I am induplicatable, is that a word? I just made it up. There's no one else in this world that can shine like I shine. No one else in this world that can shine like you shine. And when we recognize that we each bring our own beautiful gifts and talents into this world, what a symphony we all are. The music that we all bring to the table of life. You are meant to shine. You are meant to be that which you already are. So today, I invite you, go out, find that true essence that's already there. You don't have to seek it. You just have to go within and know the truth of your essence. I am constantly amazed at Sally Robbins, and I am Sally Robbins, to requote Tina Fey. I am constantly amazed at you, each one of you, and all the fabulousness you bring to this world. Keep going out there and shining your light. Let it shine, 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 because you have something within you that no one else can offer this world. No one else can duplicate what you bring to this world. I invite you to relish in that this week, this Easter Holy Week, this knowing of the truth of who you are. There's nothing more exciting than that which is happening within you. And if you doubt that there is anything growing within you, simply walk outside and take a look at nature and see that if it's happening there, surely it is growing beautifully and in perfect right time within you. The divine right time is now, and let yourself shine. Namaste. And so, as we move into that time of knowing exactly who we are, This is our time to understand the truth and essence of not only who we are, but who we are as a community, a rising spiritual community here in North Carolina, and that people all over the world can join us. Isn't that the beauty of technology, as Reverend Pat was talking about? Let's celebrate that you don't even have to be in Charlotte, North Carolina to celebrate with Unity of Charlotte. And so this is our time to come together and know the truth of our being, and that we are a beautiful, shining beacon, and that we can hold ourselves in that space and be the light that maybe someone else who's lost their way can see our beacon and know the truth of themselves. And it is because of your gifts and your willingness to support this community that is allowed to happen, that we can continue to come every week and offer this to not just Charlotte, but to the entire world. Isn't that a beautiful reason for showing up? And so I'd like to offer you at this time, I'll share my screen again where we can see there how we can share in this world. We are here to share those gifts if you so choose, and that you can offer those gifts to us in many ways. That you can send a check to us. There's the address on the screen, Unity of Charlotte on Arrowwood Road in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can also, the easiest way to do that is to just go onto our website. We have a safe and secure way that you can it just says donate here, and you can just click on that and share your gifts in that manner as well. So we hope that if you got anything out of today, that you will continue that law of circulation, that as you give, so shall you receive. And so I'd like you to just say this prosperity blessing with me. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. There's our address again. So I hope that you can, if you also, I know that Reverend Pat mentioned this at the beginning, but we also have a way for you to pray. If you need help with prayer, you can go right onto our website and also use that securely, confidentially, and that we will be happy to pray with you as well. So we're just so glad you're here with us today, and that you have the capability to show up as your light, because your light is so beautiful. All right, so let me move now to our closing prayer of protection. We'll say this together, and then we'll stay online for a few minutes if you want to share. But our prayer of protection, we always end with this. This was written by James Dillett Freeman many, many years ago, and most Unity churches use this. So let's talk about the prayer of protection. Let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you for being with us again this week. I'm Reverend Sally Robbins, delighted to be your minister of service today. Thank you for joining us, and happy Easter. Happy Easter. Enjoy this wonderful week, and I'll stop share and we can